Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be here today with all of you. And we've got an exciting panel today. It's kind of going to take a different approach than some of our webinars. So if you're back with us today, you've attended a lot of our webinars in the past, we're glad you're back. If this is your first time attending one of our webinars, we're glad you're here, and you're definitely in the right place, and you're in for a treat today. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the format today and how things are going to roll, and just cover a few housekeeping items real fast. First things first, we are in webinar mode today, and what that means for attendees is that we can't see you or hear you. Your cameras and your audio is muted, but we do know you're here, and we're glad you're here. And today, typically what we do with our webinars is we take, questions throughout the presentation. We will take questions basically, throughout the presentation. But what we're thinking today, and for the format today, is that we're going to have you address your questions specifically to the person and the facility that you want that question addressed to, unless there's a specific question while that person is speaking. So what are we even doing today? So today, I like to call this kind of a speed dating a platform is kind of what we're doing. And we have wonderful organizations, residential opportunities, and various companies that have all come together for the greater good of our community to talk about, residential opportunities throughout the state of Texas. So each person that is here to be a presenter today, they're going to have about 4.5 minutes, and they're going to talk to you about who they are, where their facility is located, who they serve, about how much they cost, whether or not they take waivers or if they're private pay. That's basically what's going to happen with each of these facilities. And you might think, 4.5 minutes, that's hardly enough time to get to know these facilities, and that is correct. But the whole point of today is to give you enough to make that thought process of, hey, this is a facility that is worth checking into. I do want to go to their website. I would like to go take a tour. This could be a good fit for my family, or maybe it's not. Because sometimes the list is long and it feels overwhelming with all the stuff we have on our plates with our families. And so the point of this is to give you enough information to be able to make a short decision of, hey, this should be on the list to investigate further. And then you're going to have the opportunity to reach out individually to the directors of these organizations or the admission coordinators with these organizations to learn more about their facility. So having said that, Allison Scarborough, Consolidated Planning Group. We are a holistic special needs financial planning firm. We're the people, so we're not a residential facility, don't have one. There's nothing on the horizon that we're going to create one or anything like that. But we're the organization that families seek out to say, hey, I have a loved one with a disability and I need to plan for the future. I need to plan for after I'm gone. How much do I need to fund the special needs trust? What does that look like if I'm going to spend 25 to 35 years in retirement? So we're basically the money. So when you're considering these options, all families are considering the financial responsibility that comes along with residential opportunities. And we help you navigate that. We help you look at the dollars and cents, black and white. Are you going to run out of money? What are things that you could do now to turn the knobs to be able to afford residential in the future? Because maybe the plan is not residential right now, but you're trying to keep your options open for the future. You might know that you're not always going to be able to care for your loved one, and you're thinking of those things. So that's where we come into play and are able to help you there. So we're glad you're here. And having said that, I would like to invite our first speaker, Judy, with the Independence Village. Tell us about the Independence Village and all we need to know about you.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to all the attendees. I really appreciate for the invitation being part of the director of the Independence Village, and I hope that you'll find the time productive. And since the placement of loved ones is a highly personal decision, I trust that you'll find the information helpful to gain insights into the heart of Independence Village. Was established in 1982 by a very small group of community parents and guardians who were passionate about establishing a residential facility to serve residents who had developmental and physical disabilities. Their passion was contagious and quickly grew to over 100 people. And soon that group began the efforts to raise the funds, and it took them 10 years to raise funds to actually get the building open. And so in 1992, they opened the doors to its first residents, one of whom is still with our facility today. And so we've been serving this population of residents for 30 years. Basically, we serve residents who have Down syndrome, brain injury, mental retardation as examples. So this year has been our 30th anniversary, and our mission is to provide them a safe, affordable residential home where they can live and stay connected to their families and the community as well. We are a nonprofit organization, and we have 24 beds, which is private pay. We are located in Texas City, just off of Interstate 45 South between Houston and Galveston. However, we welcome residents from the surrounding areas, but some of the residents that we have served, their families have lived in California and Arkansas and Louisiana. So we're not restricted to just the immediate area. We have both private and semi-private suites for our residents, depending on their needs and their preferences. Many of our residents actually work in the community if they choose to do so, and together with their families, we actually help them find employment, and we help to arrange local transportation. One of the features of the Independence Village that I am the proudest of, I think, is one that brings a great deal of joy to all of us, and that's the fact that we were built on the support of not only individuals in the community, but corporate groups as well. So we have continued throughout the years to nurture and to cultivate those relationships for the benefit of our residents and the Independence Village. Every month we work on a calendar of events where our residents can look forward to the many activities and outings that we arrange for them. And those the relationships, the residents have become actually family with a lot of those connections that we've made with individuals and volunteers from those organizations in the community. We have found that all of the residents love those outings, they love those connections, and it's my personal belief that those relationships have helped to enhance the lives of our residents. And in fact, for many of our residents, those individual relationships have actually become family, extended family for them. So that's exactly what we strive to do, to provide them with an independence and a happy home. And I say it often that the Independence Village is their home, and we just get to work here. So that concludes my comments, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have in the chat box. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Judy. And just as a reminder for anybody that just joined, we do want, if you have specific questions for whoever is speaking, you can put your questions in the chat box, because they'll have this whole time to be monitoring the chat box, and they can answer your questions there. Two things that I wanted to mention that I forgot in the beginning is everybody who's registered for this webinar, you are going to get a copy of today's slides, as well as a copy of the recording as well. So, so just so you know, you don't have to write down every single thing. You're going to get this, any links that they have in their presentation as well. And then the other thing that I wanted to say that I have personally done, and I find it, it's just pretty amazing. You know, a lot of families have, sometimes there is that feeling of, I would never put my child somewhere, like they're sticking them somewhere, or they're leaving them or something like that. And so what I would say is I invite everybody to go tour the facilities that you're interested in, because what you're going to find, it's not like that at all. It's happy. They have community. They have friends. They have purpose. It is so good. And they have some autonomy. There's so many things that you actually don't see or feel without touring some of these places. So that was my experience. Thank you so much, Judy, for sharing. And I am going to turn it over to Jackie.
Hello, and thank you for having me today. My name is Jackie Sylvie. I'm the Director of Community Outreach for Community for Permanent Supportive Housing, or CPSH. We are a nonprofit that has been in the North Texas area for over 12 years, founded by parents and families that were looking for housing options for their loved ones and just didn't find what they needed. And so CPSH was born. And from that, what we do is we are working to create housing options, affordable housing options for people with disabilities. And our resources can really stretch across Texas. While we have been in the North Texas area, we have been virtual for 12 years, so we serve anyone and everyone. And so some of what we do is we have workshops, we have trainings, we do one-on-one consultations. We also do discovery calls where people can fill out some information, and we have someone call them back who can give them the specific resources that they're looking for. A lot of our workshops are geared around finding affordable housing, finding the resources that you need, getting set up with Social Security, waivers. We also do a lot with housing authorities and the housing vouchers that are available for people specifically with disabilities. So we really work with people on how they can access those, what they need, and informing the community of when those come out. We also work a lot with what you guys have called quite often is shared housing. We tend to call them neighborhood homes. These gentlemen down here live in a neighborhood home. And so what we do is we work with families on how they can set up a neighborhood home, how they can access the resources for those, how they can manage them. These gentlemen are a good example. They've lived in their home now for 4 years and have been very successful in that. So it's just another way to find some options to help with the housing crisis that we have. So we have information on our website that is in all different kinds of areas. We have workshops, like I said, coming up. We have one in January 23rd, that we call the Introduction to Independence. And it's really starting those steps, those processes to looking at, what happens after high school? What happens, after you can't live with mom and dad anymore? So that's one of the things that we offer. I will be in a workshop that is November 14th with Consolidated Planning Group, also talking about some of those housing options and shared housing. So all of our resources are free. We have videos, we have a lot of different things that we can offer. Some of our consultations have a minimal fee, but we have quite a bit of resources that are out there for families. So, and
Jackie, that was one of my questions. Actually, it's like, how much are your services? Because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so wait a minute. So you're a person that I can help put on my team. If I'm a parent looking, and you're going to help me identify and find, what might be the right fit for my loved one. And so you guys are a not-for-profit organization, so they can engage your services, and you can kind of help them navigate some of this stuff if they're feeling like they need some help.
Yes, we have consultations that are $65 an hour. And with that, you get a host of resources from that. So those are our one-on-one consultations. But if you're looking for specific information, we also have videos because we've done so many workshops, we've recorded them. So a lot of those are free. The Introduction to Independence workshop is free. That's in January 23rd. So like I said, we do these periodically. We also do Meet the Expert workshops periodically that are just a great benefit to our community. We usually do those on a Friday, 12 to 1. Those are free. And we bring
Once
those
you put
experts.
the link to those, if you have a link to where your webinars live, or to how they could register for those webinars. If you'll put that in the chat box, then people can find those and can register for those as well. And I think we have a few questions in the chat box for you that you can answer through the chat box, if you will.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jackie, for being here today, and we look forward to partnering with you again on another webinar in the near future. So thank you for that. Next, we have Rachel with Live Oak Living. So Rachel, tell us about Live Oak Living.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. Yeah, thank you. Live Oak Living Community is a community for adults with a variety of cognitive disabilities. So I'm going to try and answer some of the questions that are on the side in the chat while I go through my spiel here. But we work with people with traumatic brain injury, mental illness, intellectual and developmental disabilities, like autism spectrum disorder. And we've been around for about 20 years. So we are also starting to work with people who tend to be a bit older. One of the big questions that we wanted to answer for families is, how long can somebody stay with our facility? Can our program grow with people in our community? And I think that Live Oak has a very unique structure because we have 3 locations. We have our San Marcos location called Smith House, which is more of a group home, and that has become our aging in place program. So when people live with us for 20 years and they start to need a little bit more care and support, but they're not ready for that skilled nursing facility yet, they could come to us. We also have our Live Oak Ranch, which is our largest program. We work with about 16 people at our ranch program, so we're still fairly small. And average age of that program is between 20 and 60. So we have a lot of 30 to 50-year-olds right now. And then we also have our apartment program that's in downtown San Marcos that works with people who are a bit more independent. Maybe they don't need 24/7 support and supervision, but they do need somebody checking in on them, somebody just making sure they're taking their medications, providing a lot of community experience. So making sure that people have outlets to go get jobs or volunteer opportunities, or getting involved in local organizations or a church if they wanted to, just being able to use the community of San Marcos to their benefit. As far as pay, we are a private pay community, and our average program cost really depends on which program you're at and your specific needs, but it's usually anywhere from $200 to $275 per day. We are not skilled nursing, so if somebody were to need those resources, we would not be appropriate for them. Really, our goal is to help somebody who's living with a disability live their best life. So we're trying to get lots of activities going for them, trying to get them involved in the broader community of San Marcos, trying to make sure that they're doing the things that they want to do in their life. What we usually see is, number one, caretakers of adults with disabilities are parents, specifically moms. And usually people come to us after moms maybe need a little bit more care and support themselves. So they're looking for someone to kind of take over and help when they're no longer able to do so. So I think that that's a big part of what we offer and why we tend to see people come in at their 50s, because they've lived with mom their whole life. I think that Allison touched on this, but the other big benefit of a living community is that we've got a team around us that's really all working towards supporting the individual. And it can be very hard for parents to create a program in their homes to make sure that they're providing for their loved one 12 hours a day, making sure that medications are taken care of, meals are taken care of, activities are done, they've got friends. So I think that's a big part of what Live Oak tries to do, is provide that for people.
I love that so much. Thanks, Rachel, for putting that. We did have something in the chat box that basically is a question and inquiring minds want to know. So if you've already gone, put this in the chat box for your facility. People want to know if there is a tryout. Do you have a trial a few days, or a trial week, or a trial month, or something like that? A lot of these settings do have that. So if you have that, and you're going forward, let us know when you're talking about that. And if you've already gone, put that in the chat box for us. Thank you. And so do you guys do that, Rachel?
Yeah, so our admission process is pretty relaxed. We know that people are making a big commitment, both financially and it's their home. So what we try to do is have people come and tour first. They can see the program. If that's something that they're interested in pursuing further, we have a space that they could come and stay for a few days and just get the feel of what it would be like to live at Live Oak. We want people to be able to make a good choice and feel good about where they're going to live for potentially the rest of their life. So yeah, I would say that after that, if you need more time or assistance, we have respite care options. So if somebody wanted to come stay a week, maybe you're not ready for long-term care, you're not ready for years and years of care, but as a parent, you might want a week or two where you can kind of go and take a vacation, have a break, and also give somebody an opportunity to experience what it would be like to live in a program. Respite options are great for that, and that is something that we do provide.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so next we have the village centers. Let me advance that slide. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jessica Morales with the Village Centers. We are based in Kingwood, Texas, in the Northeast Houston area, really serving anyone in the region, but have a lot of clients from the Lake Houston and Northeast Houston region. We primarily serve adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, with clients ranging in age from 18 upwards to 65 plus. Like some of the others do have a aging client base. We were founded in 2000, so we've been around a little over 20 years. We try to provide a continuum of services, and residential is part of that continuum. So in total, right now, we have about 20 residents, although we hope to grow this program in the future. One of the photos there is of our assisted living home, the Village at Stony Glen, which is located right in the heart of Kingwood. So a big part of our model and what we strive for is that community integration and inclusion. Our day hab center is actually walking distance from the assisted living facility. So many of our clients are able to participate in that, as well as, of course, we're providing transportation to church and to community outings and keeping a very busy social calendar. Stony Glen specifically is staffed 24/7. It's a no sleep home. So we have a range of clients in terms of medical needs and level of functioning. We accept AmeriGroup or private pay at Stony Glen. And we do also have a couple of smaller group homes that are part of HCS for home and community-based services. Also not pictured here, we're related to an independent living facility that's also right in the vicinity of our other locations, but we are not actively operating that, but we can definitely assist with connecting folks to it. And it's a fully independent living apartment style homes for those who are a good fit for that. So, in general, I think some of the things that differentiate us is we're, again, located right in the heart of the community. We have a lot of employment partners. We have a lot of other community partners who work with skills training and just activities for the clients. The home itself is beautiful. Stony Glen houses 15 residents. And in terms of trial, we also offer respite space. So that's really the best way if a client or a family wants to stay and get a feel. And of course, we do tours on an ongoing basis. It has a kitchen, meals are provided there, it has a beautiful outdoor space with a patio. And we accept waivers or private pay in general, and cost really varies on level of need. So our higher level of medical need, we just work with each individual to determine what works best for us and for them. We try to be as affordable and accessible as possible.
Could you give us a low and a high range? I know it's individualized, but could you give us a low and a high range if it was private pay?
I do not know those numbers off the top of my head, but I will get back to anyone that's interested in more and connect them with the appropriate person. Perfect.
Thank you for sharing with us Village Centers. The last question that I have for you, Do you guys have openings at this time? Are you on a wait list? And if you are on a wait list, and I know we're always trying to find that good fit, but typically how long does that wait list run?
We do have a wait list because we have such limited capacity. I would definitely say it's over a year at this point, but it also just really depends on the client situation, and something may suddenly not be a fit for them. And we're really looking for the person who's the best fit. It does become a family and a community. So in many ways, we're just searching for who's going to be the best fit for that environment. And we're also hoping to grow and build more facilities. So, I would just say to be in touch, and we can get
for
specific.
sure. Well, and one thing that comes to planning that we like to, share with families is, it costs you nothing but your time to explore this, to go tour, to put your name on a wait list. Having your name on the wait list gives you the opportunity to say yes if you come up on that list. You're not obligated to say yes. But what we've seen is where people wait till the 11th hour and they need a place now, and there's a long wait list. So we do recommend that early planning and getting on those lists that might be a good fit for your family. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Jessica, for being with us today. Next, we have Miss Rhonda Phillips with AIM. Thank you, Rhonda, for being here with us. Tell us about AIM.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me all right. So I think we'll find that AIM, which stands for Adults Independent and Motivated, is going to be pretty different from many of the things we've heard so far. Our setting is that our group of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, the setting is that they're just embedded within a typical apartment complex. We're located in Austin, Texas. And what's really different about us is that we are a group of families that got together and decided we wanted something pretty different for our young adults. Choices, I guess, would be group homes. Some of the other settings that we've heard about so far are living with mom and dad for a long time. So we really wanted something different. We wanted our children to be able to live as independently as possible. So I speak as a board member and as a parent of a participant with AIM. We call them AIMers. They're fully included as community members because they live in a typical apartment complex. They have jobs. They're very active. So some of the benefits of being a part of our AIM community is that we provide transportation to their jobs that are located in the general vicinity of where the apartment is, but you're not able to necessarily walk. Some of the AIMers are able to walk to their jobs, but others need to use our transportation program. And we also provide transportation to other AIM activities, a weekly sports outing at a nearby facility, various socials. Being embedded within a typical apartment complex allows for our AIMers to just do typical adult living activities. They hang out at the pool with their AIM friends, and there are other residents that are just typical residents there at the apartment complex as well. They get together and hang out at each other's apartments, maybe walk to a nearby movie theater or restaurant, things like that. I mentioned that we provide weekly fitness activities. We also have a Special Olympics basketball team. We have weekly, we call it Monday Night Group. It is a weekly ongoing educational opportunity for our AIMers. Let's see. The lifestyle of being an AIMer is that they just do, like I said, the typical adult living things: clean their apartments, take care of their pets, they go to their jobs, they just hang out, things like that. Let's see, we provide socials for them. And one thing that's definitely unique, it's not a drop your loved one off at the door and go. The families remain very involved with fundraising, with volunteering, with hosting socials, things like that. So AIM would be right for your family if your young adult could function relatively independently, but also still require some support. that you would be able to, as a family, commit to being actively involved in the ongoing success of AIM, participate in the socials and the events that we have. To address the trial period, the way it works for AIM is that if it sounds like something you would like to investigate and find out if we might be a good fit for you and that you might be a good fit for us, we ask that you reach out to us and we will have a conversation with you. And if it sounds like something that you want to explore, then what we would do is have a year-long process where you attend the socials and just hang out and we get to know you and you get to know us. And then you see if this type of lifestyle would be appropriate for your loved one. What have I left out? Oh, the cost, I guess. So as you can see on our slide, we don't actually charge a fee for any of our services like the transportation program and things like that. But you would incur the typical expenses of rent and food and that. So different AIMers use different funding mechanisms, whether it's a waiver that you could use or just private pay, things like that.
Thank you, Rhonda, for sharing that. And I always love when we have new information to our community about the different things that are available out there. Somebody had in the chat box about employment. I want to mention that we do have webinars. Our YouTube channel is listed in the very beginning of the chat box, but we do have webinars on employment for individuals with a disability. There is the vocational rehab program through the Workforce Commission. There are programs through Workforce Solutions. So again, for our panelists, if you are in the chat box, make sure you put your comments to everyone. Otherwise, it's just going to us and they can't see your comments. But if you can let the folks know, if you've already gone, how you guys support employment. Do you pull in VR? Do you pull in Workforce Solutions? Do you have your own program with something like that? If you could put that in the chat box. Rhonda, what do you guys do as far as that supported employment?
So each individual family uses whatever they need to be able to ensure that their young adult has a job. We don't, as a group, currently have things in place to help find jobs. Like they may use like Texas Workforce Solutions or Goodwill or whatever it is that can help. So we don't, as an organization, actively help with job searches other than just noticing, oh, hey, I noticed a we're hiring flyer at the local, whatever, grocery store or something.
I know people are on here from all over the state, maybe even out of state, but we do have the Greater Houston Disability Chamber that is all about employment for individuals with a disability. And with the Workforce Commission, VR, Workforce Solutions, they're state and federally funded. They've got big dollars to help close the gap on impediments to employment for people with a disability. Thank you, Rhonda, for being with us. And like I said, if you guys will put your information out to everybody on anything about the employment, because I think that is a pressing question to many. But thank you again for joining us today. So next, we have Andrea with DNS Community Services. Andrea, talk to us about DNS. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. So I work for DNS Community Services, where we are now part of the Savita Health family. We've been serving Texas for over 30 years. Savita has been serving, they serve across the nation for over 50 years now. So we've got a lot of experience. But so basically at DNS, we provide comprehensive services for individuals in all different settings. We can provide things like case management, nursing, occupational, physical, speech therapies. We help with, we do have job coaches and for supported employment. We serve individuals in a variety of settings as well. We can serve individuals that are living in, we can support them if they're living in their own home, if they're living in a relative's home or a host home. We also have group homes throughout the state. And we also have ICFs, which are just like group homes, but just a little bit bigger. So we also have a pretty unique program where if you're not familiar with the way host home works, an individual lives either with a relative or a non-relative, and all the services are provided through we only provide services to the HCS waiver system, but all of the individual's needs are taken care of within a home. And we were speaking a little bit earlier about individuals that are living with parents that might be aging and not able to care for their loved one any longer. So we help to find people, families, or individuals that are willing to host those people. Like if the family isn't comfortable with their individual living in a group home, then we try and find a home. It's very similar to a foster system where, you know, we would look in your area so that you would still be, your loved one would still be in your community, but just living with a family, a different family. So and also the reverse of that, I can also help. Sometimes we have individuals who are living at home and their parents or caregivers really feel like they need like a roommate or, you know, another individual in the home. I can help to find, match an individual that would mesh well with your family, and you would become a host home for someone else. And room and board for that sort of thing is funded through the individual's Social Security, plus the state pays a tax-free stipend for that sort of service. But as I said before, we only service people that have their HCS waiver slot. So if you're not familiar with HCS, I'm actually doing a webinar with Consolidated Planning Group on December 12th. It's 12/12 at 12, December 12th at noon. We're doing a webinar on the particulars of the HCS waiver system. A lot of people think they don't qualify. They hear Medicaid and they think that they don't qualify for these waivers, but the most of the waivers only look at the individual's income levels. So more people qualify than they think. So I'm basically able to help with all across all different settings.
Wonderful. Andrea, thank you for sharing that with us. And I know there'll be some additional questions in the chat box, and we do look forward to 12/12 at 12. And we do have webinars on our YouTube channel specifically about the waivers. So if somebody's talking about Medicaid waivers and you've got this, what is that going on? Check out the Medicaid waivers webinar out there. It talks about all the waivers in Texas, actually tells you how to get on those waiting lists, who to call, who does what for those waivers and what those waivers are designed to do. But they're all Medicaid waivers, so do check that out. Thank you again, Andrea, for being with us. Next, we have Marbridge and Rosie Dunlap. Rosie, talk to us about Marbridge. I know you've been there a long time. It's always nice to see your face again. Can't wait to hear more about Marbridge.
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay? Is my volume coming through?
Yep, it's good.
Okay, great. Yeah, so Marbridge has been around for quite some time, almost 70 years, and we are technically located in Manchac. That's basically a suburb of Austin, for those that are unfamiliar. We serve a wide range of adults, 18 to end of life. And I will say common scenarios for us are folks that are aging out of the school system, maybe young adults that are desiring transition into like an out of the home setting. But we also have folks that come at all ages and stages of their life in adulthood. So we have older individuals whose parents are aging and maybe struggling to provide a sense of community or all the activity that they are desiring. Again, range of abilities, range of diagnoses. We actually have 3 different licensed communities on our campus setting, so it does kind of feel like a campus. We have 2 licensed assisted living communities. We have the ranch, which is a little more supportive, a little more structured. The ratio is about one staff to 12 residents. We have the village, which is our most independent level. It is like a little neighborhood setting of cottages on our campus, and that is about 1 to 30. We have 24/7 awake staff. So the staff are always on campus. They don't live here. They don't sleep here. They are there to provide. I know medication management was asked about. We do supervised medication management. We make sure residents get to class, have weather appropriate clothing on. They're doing their hygiene routine. We're checking their chore checklist, or we're assisting as needed. So the range of the village, it just kind of varies based on one's level of ability and their needs and how much staff assistance they might need. No part of our campus is really set up to provide consistent one-on-one care as far as somebody that's needing intimate personal care, somebody that's needing a lot of behavioral support or therapeutic interventions from a mental health standpoint. The third component of our campus, the third care community, is something called the Villa, and it is a licensed skilled nursing home. So we do have that continuum of care on this campus. Marbridge was designed to be an adult lifetime care community. So as someone ages and their needs become more complex, or they have medical fragilities to begin with, they can reside in our villa. It is a skilled nursing home. That area of campus, we do, of course, provide quite a bit of personal care support. We have residents that are not able to transfer independently. They're, non-ambulatory. We have residents that are fed in different manners. We have folks that are tube fed. We have folks that are not able to dress or shower, have incontinence. So it is, by all intents and purposes, a licensed nursing home. The big difference is it's 18 to end of life as well. So a lot of younger folks in the villa currently. As far as wait list and availability, please, by all means, contact us. I can talk specifically about each community, but generally speaking, we are pretty close to capacity at all parts of campus. The villa does carry a pretty lengthy wait list at this point, the nursing home. But again, we're always trying to serve residents and get new families in. The ranch tends to have some openings, and the dormitory setting of our campus, the village, it just kind of varies. But again, contact me. I'll be happy to discuss availability. Other than the nursing home, not huge wait list. As far as funding goes, the ranch and the village, the 2 assisted living communities, are private pay. No waiver programs are accepted on this campus. So private pay of approximately $4,000 a month. That's room and board, all the classes that we're doing, which I won't really have a chance to touch on much, but y'all just ask me about later. Employment support, we do help with that. And we have a variety of folks that work both on campus and out in the greater community. We also include meals. So that's the private pay cost. The villa is funded by long-term Medicaid as well as private pay. Most residents meet qualifications for long-term Medicaid to fund for them there, as long as they meet medical necessity. I'm seeing a question pop up, application fees, very minimal application fee, $250. We don't have a huge wait list because really our wait list is made up of people that are imminently ready to move in. So we give tours. We really want people to kind of suss out with us if we think they'll be a good fit before they get too deep into the application process. We do have a summer camp. That's kind of the best way to try us out. But again, I can talk more about like coming and visiting, trials, things like that. I know I'm running out of time here. I did see questions about behaviors.
Pretty much out of time, Rosie. Sorry.
Okay, sure. Like I said, I can answer questions. Just reach out to me individually. I'd be happy to do that.
You're muted, Allison.
Well, I do it at least once a day, so today's my first one. Rosie, thank you for sharing your facility with us. And again, I can't stress enough the importance of touring. And, you know, finding a facility, facility is the wrong word. It is setting. It's a setting. It's a home. It's a, you know, this is the place where they belong. That can grow with them. Some of our kids haven't arrived yet. Their brains are still forming. They're not even 26 yet. Some of them are older, some of them are younger. But as they're growing in their skills and their ability, whether they're, you know, working in the community or close to the community or whatever that is, that the ability to grow is so, so important. I am definitely excited to see Courtney Page with Daymark Living. I have also had the pleasure of touring at Daymark too. I just can't tell you how happy I am every place I tour. It's so exciting and so wonderful. And what I would tell you is it's exciting and wonderful for different reasons, different good reasons. So Courtney, take it away. Tell us all about Daymark.
Awesome. Thank you for having us, and thank you for putting this amazing webinar together. My name's Courtney. I'm the outreach coordinator at Daymark Living, and we are a private residential community for adults with intellectual and developmental delays. So that's kind of a really big umbrella of who we serve. A lot of our residents have various diagnoses or disabilities, but a lot have, you know, Down syndrome, autism. We can serve individuals with a TBI, low IQ, but you can talk to us more about all of that. Our youngest resident is 18 on campus, and our oldest goes all the way up to 68. There's really no age cap on who we can serve. It just kind of goes into the varying different needs of residents on campus. So we have life coaches who act as our direct care staff, and they are the ones assisting residents in the day-to-day tasks, getting ready for the morning. We have a nursing staff who also manage medications. And our life coaches teach our classes and, you know, prompt for staying on schedule and pretty much everything happening around campus. We just don't have one-on-one staff for some of those individuals that need more assistance, bathing, or going to the bathroom and things like that. So we now have domestic skilled staff who assist more with hygiene and different cottage needs. So we have some who can kind of monitor and just help with the smaller minute tasks, but we just don't have that one-on-one staffing. We are located in Waxahachie, Texas, which is about 30 minutes south of Dallas and about 3.5 hours north of Houston. Right now, we have 101 residents on campus, and we do have capacity for more, so we have no wait list. Our cost is $4,200 a month, and that includes everything. So programming, rent, utilities, 3 meals a day, transportation, and job support. So we do have a small program on campus that helps residents find employment and also prepare for it. So we provide transportation to and from. And we just recently started a partnership with Baylor Scott and White. So we have about 24 residents who are going over there with an internship that we're super excited about. Because we are private pay, we do not accept any state waivers. However, families can still use waivers on campus for third-party services. So if you have HCS, you can use those services to bring in additional support. You just can't use it to pay for Daymark itself. One thing I wanted to note real quick is just we have trial stays available now. So if you wanted to have your loved one just come experience it for 30 days, you're more than welcome to come visit and just see if that's an option for y'all. And we have financial assistance available in-house. So always ask about that. Miss Tiffany is our leasing associate. So she's going to be the person that you reach out to. But if y'all have any questions, I can help field some of that for y'all.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I love that, and I love that you have that trial the thing is I think the trial thing is important, you know, to see if it's a fit and to be there long enough to kind of integrate, because a trial day doesn't take into consideration all that's happening. You know, where you're at. A little bit longer than a day or two is probably important. So thank you for being with us today and telling us about Daymark, and you can just watch the chat box for any additional questions there. And then we are going to turn it over to Leslie with Southwind Fields. Tell us about Southwind Fields, Leslie. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody. So my name is Leslie. I'm the CEO of Southwind Fields, and we are a nonprofit organization in San Antonio, but we serve people from all over the state and all over the country. We have about 74 locals now. We call them locals because they're local to the community, just like we are. We have a couple of programs for adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities who are over the age of 18. Most of our locals are mid-20s, but we do have locals well into their 40s. So it's a pretty wide age range. We have two programs. We have a city local program currently, as well as what we call our local society. And we do offer lifelong support in both programs. So the city local program is something that we really refer to as a community within a community. We partner with a typical apartment complex in the community just down the street from our offices. And all of our locals do live in the same complex. So we have 24/7 on-call emergency, 24/7 on-call wellness. We have staff that do live there in the same complex. All of our, well, I shouldn't say all, most of our locals choose to live with a roommate. All of the apartments are 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We do have a few who have chosen 1-bedrooms, which is totally fine. But we offer transportation training. We do personalized job placement and support. We have weekly check-ins with an advisor who is essentially a case manager who helps with everything from, you know, managing Social Security to personal budgeting, financial management, if that's something that they need, paying their bills, that sort of thing, as well as weekly environmental checks with our assistant advisor, who just goes around to all the apartments to make sure that dishes are getting done, laundry's getting done, all that kind of good stuff. Dishes aren't piling up in the sink. But so we're seeing them several times a week. And then additionally, we offer independent living skills classes here at the local society that our city locals are asked to come to at least one class a week. Many choose to come to more, but we just ask that they come to one, and we do try to personalize that for whatever it is that they need the most help on. So we offer that as well. We're extremely leadership focused. So many of our locals choose to participate in something we call the local life leaders team. And they are focused on talking about Southwind and going with us to present. They're focused on public speaking if that's something that they're interested in. But more importantly, they are culture carriers for the organization, and they help to lead and guide and teach the other locals what it means to be a part of Southwind Fields and to support one another. But in turn, they get to walk that out by leading their own team. So there's a podcast team and a music team and a welcome team and a hospitality team and all sorts of things that they get to participate in. So that creates lots of opportunities for locals to do all different things during the week. And then especially the events team, they have movie nights and Six Flags days and all sorts of things. So they're always busy hanging out at each other's apartments, at the pool, that sort of thing. So they have a really good time. There is no wait list for that program. We do have what we call a roommate pool though. So we really want our locals to be matched with a roommate that they can be really good friends with. And we want that to be a long-term relationship. So we do create a pool where we try to do the best roommate matches that we possibly can and ask those people to spend time together and that sort of thing. So there's not a wait list, just a roommate pool. And then our local society, just really briefly, is a Monday through Thursday program for people who are working on independent living skills and maybe have the intention of moving into the city local program at some point. Some of them don't. Some of them plan to just stay at home, and that's okay. But they can come here Monday through Thursday and work on building those skills, making friends, all that sort of thing. So we do offer a trial stay in the city local program as well as a volunteer day for the local society. And then lastly, we are in the very near future, we're getting very close to breaking ground on an all-inclusive tiny home community that will be just outside San Antonio as well.
Leslie, I love that. I think we learned about you guys earlier this year. And so the cost at $350 a month plus your rent. I mean, it also, looks like an affordable option, but is it safe to say that, really from a perspective of who you're serving, these are, for example, maybe it's high functioning autism, maybe it's ADHD, maybe they have some deficits, but the goal ultimately is that they're going to be basically semi-independent, but maybe they haven't been there. They're not there yet, and it's helping them get where they're going. Is that a fair thing to say? Correct anything that I said. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on who you serve.
Yeah, that is fair. So most of our locals are fairly independent. Some of them need a little more help than others. If they do need a higher level of support, then many of them work either through their waiver programs or through Medicaid to have providers come into their apartment to help with cooking and cleaning and that sort of thing. And then we have some locals who are extremely independent and drive and have master's degrees and, get up and go to work every day, just like, anyone else. So there's a really wide variety of skills and abilities. And then we just try to meet them exactly where they're at.
I love that. And then also one thing, because you mentioned the kind of the future of the tiny home communities coming, has there started a wait list for that yet? Or if somebody's interested in something like that, can they get on a list for that?
They can. So there is not currently a wait list, but it is filling up really fast. As it stands right now, we're projected to have about 150 tiny homes, and then there will be a more supportive home as well that we're calling the River Home. And so there will be probably a wait list for that pretty quickly. But yeah, as of right now, they can reach out for information and we just kind of go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leslie, for taking your time to be with us here today.
Thanks so much.
From a perspective of everybody, I would like to just extend a huge thank you to all of our panelists today, because again, they've all come together for the greater good of our community. They all are involved with different organizations, different companies, and they've all come together for the greater good. So that way we could have this speed dating thing that we have done today. So thank you all for being here and your willingness to participate. There are a few more things in the chat box. If you guys want to run through that, certainly do that. These are things here that should be on your planning radar. We always put this at the end of all of our webinars. When it comes to planning for our loved one, these are all things that should be on our radar. We have webinars on all of these topics. There's things that may have come up today with some of the waiver questions, things like that. SSI, SSDI, Medicaid, Medicare, there's always a lot of questions surrounding that because it is quite frankly very, very confusing. So just wanted to just share that we have upcoming webinars and we have past webinars on these topics. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel for free and you can kind of peruse. There's at least 200 webinars out there, so you can kind of peruse the ones that might be a good fit for you and the planning stages that you guys are, at right now. We always just want you to meet our team. We work on a collaborative team here at Consolidated Planning Group, and our whole firm is nuanced and special needs planning. When it comes to our families and planning for their future, the truth is it is specialized. There is specialized care that goes into these planning and the decisions that are made. There are such things as having money in the right buckets, making decisions to preserve, both federally and state funded programs, making sure that we're eligible for waivers and things along those lines. We can help you on your journey. Certainly reach out if you're thinking about the feasibility, the affordability of residential in the future, in the near future, or in the extended future. We can help put that to paper, dollars and cents, and see if that makes sense, and also going to leave you where you need to be from a retirement perspective. We always offer free consultations at Consolidated Planning Group, so we're happy to talk with you about your unique needs and your family and kind of the planning that you guys have done so far. So today, everybody's going to get a copy. Just a reminder, you're going to get a copy of today's slides and a link with today's recording. There was a lot of activity going on in the chat box, so we will download the chat box and attach that as well, so that way people can kind of see some of the answers going back and forth, because I think unfortunately some of those answers were going to panelists as opposed to everyone to see. So we will go ahead and download that chat box so everybody can see that. Thanks again, everyone, for being here with us this afternoon. It's certainly been our pleasure. We look forward to partnering with you guys again soon. Take care, everyone.